Welcome, lovely, gorgeous, beautiful listeners. Welcome to the Chakra Meditation Podcast. I'm Rosanne, your host and guide. And today I have a gift for you. I have the beautiful Amy Pons. Now, Amy is just what I need today. I'm feeling particularly grounded in the stuff of life today. I'm not feeling very spiritual or holy or enlightened. Amy is a soul coach and a quantum energy healer, and she runs the rather magnificent sounding, I think I need to enroll magic school. Um, but I found this thing that you wrote on Instagram, Amy, that I'm going to read out, which I love. It's just one of your kind of scroll things, and it says, "I help women remember who the fuck they are, not who corporate told you to be, not who survival mode shaped you into the divine, magical being that you came here to express." That
Mm.
one. Amen to that. Welcome, Amy.
Thank you so much, Rosanne. I have to say, your voice and your vibes and everything. I know your energy feels like you feel very like humaning is hard today, but like
Mm.
your vibration is still so cozy and warm and lovely. So thank you for that. You're giving me a gift as well.
Oh, thank you. No, this
Mm.
is really, it's good. It's going to be great. I really want to hear about everything that you've done, you do, and that you have done, because I love what you do is really like championing women and
Mm.
bringing them back to their
Yeah.
power, back to
Yeah.
themselves. And, as you said before we started, you're wearing the t-shirt that just says magic happens. And it does. And we just need to understand that it does.
Life gets to be magical despite, I know, listen, y'all, I know it's hard. Every day there's something new. And I'm in the US, so it's like every day I'm acutely aware of everything unfolding around us. And
Mm.
if by any degree you can get into your soul spirit being, like zoom out to the macro, out to the universe, out to the cosmos, doesn't everything have to dismantle and unfold exactly the way it's meant so that we, and especially as women, we, as the pioneers that are birthing the new experience, the new paradigm, doesn't the all old have to come down? And is that going to be comfortable for anyone? Probably not. So that's not to suggest we just slap a smile on and be like, oh, it's fine. It's all happening for us. Not that, not the toxic positivity, not that. More so, feel your feels, feel into the very messy, awesome humaning that's unfolding. And also to what Rosanne said, and this is what I always talk about, remembering that you're a soul having a human experience, not the other way around. So it
Mm.
is truly remembering back. And I'll share more about my story in a minute about, and for me specifically, why it was remembering. I know a
Mm.
lot of people talk about awakening. Sure, whatever you want to call it, I don't care. But mine was such a strong remembering. And it was like, oh my gosh, that's right.
Yeah.
I was 4 or 5 the last time I felt this magical. And when I say magic, oh, it is that moment in your day when you see such a beautiful glimmer, seemingly quote unquote out of nowhere. And
Mm.
it invokes, and that glimmer could be a song on the radio you haven't heard since you were younger, or it could be something like a bird that's out of season shows up out of, again, I'm going to keep saying out of quote unquote nowhere.
Yeah.
When these glimmers unfold before you and you feel that, like, it invokes or evokes a visceral feeling, whether it be from your root, your sacral, your solar, your heart, anywhere really, but you feel in your physical body that light up, that glow up,
Mm.
that's magic.
Yeah.
That is what it feels like and why we actually came here as a soul to be able to experience that visceral feeling in our human
Mm.
bodies.
Mm.
That's how magical life gets to be every single day.
Yeah.
if you can
And
allow it and just remember that these things are not happening out of coincidence.
yeah, yeah, no, I'm so with you. And I think that the key part of this, because these moments of magic happen every day, all around us,
Every day.
we just need to have our eyes open to it and that the awareness to go, oh, look at that. Oh, feel that. Because I think, they happen to everybody. And it's just us, if we don't notice it, we can be so caught up in our earthly crap. Like,
Yeah, and especially, and again, this is what magic school is all about, is allowing yourself to feel into that first instinct, that first
mm,
inclination before you get to that point where like, huh, that was weird. Huh. Wow, my imagination's running wild today. Huh. No, sit in the marvel, sit in the awe.
mm.
Allow yourself, give yourself the audacity to be awed.
Yeah,
Like, isn't that wild?
I know. I love it. It's just, and I think you can invite that in a really purposeful way. Like, even if I'm in the middle of a city on a train going through like a filthy part of London or whatever, and you look out of the window and even if it's not scenic, you can look at all of the windows and go, behind every window is another soul's life unfolding.
Mm.
Oh my Lord. Like that, even that is, let alone, being in nature and just looking at a tree because hello, trees. But, yeah, we can invite that in whenever you have a moment actually to just really, yeah, awe is so powerful because it puts you in your place. It gives you perspective, doesn't it?
Yeah, suddenly it's like that. We've all probably seen that picture on the internet where like it's a way zoomed out Cosmo photo of like Earth. And
Mm,
it's like this speck and it's like you are here.
yeah.
And it's so amazing. And I love what you said about perspective and oh, it's 11:11 here.
Oh, hello.
That allow that's magic.
Yeah,
Um just gives you a moment to realize the audacity and how special it is to be in this very time and place, despite all of the muck.
yeah. And I think that that dealing with the muck thing, and this is the thing that I have to work on every day, almost, especially in my, coming towards the end of renovating a house, and I'm just like, "Ugh, I've had enough."
Uh,
Um, it's that keeping perspective. Oh, I had another thought in my head and it just completely disappeared because I got lost in renovation land there for a second. Sorry, lost my train of
no,
thought
it's okay.
completely.
No need to be
That
sorry.
happens at the end
Mm-mm.
of the day after I've been fixing manual stuff every day, all day. That just happens. Okay, so we are delving into the magic of life, which is just beautiful. Now, you are a quantum energy healer. So you really find the magic in energy. And this is where we really, our worlds collide, because I'm all about the energetic body, feeling into the energy that we have in our body, really feeling our feels, feeling and listening to the signs of our body that our body send to us
Oh,
because it can come in any shape or size. Like I have the most annoying songs drop into my head. For me, like I'm like, oh, okay, this song is not going out of my head. I need to analyze it, see what it's trying to teach me. Then sometimes my knee will start to hurt, and I'm like, okay, what's going on in my knee? Or, a little
mm.
stiff shoulder. Okay, what's going on there?
Yep.
Everything we can look at that happens in our lives, in our bodies, is fascinating. So, where do you come at from all of this?
Oh gosh, our bodies already know they always have.
Mm,
And interesting you bring up renovations because when I get into a good home project, I get really frustrated. And someone might be feeling like it's like, how do I feel magic about something that I'm so annoyed about? Okay, just what Roseanne said. You feel your feels. Like you still get, listen, you have free will as a human. You get to feel anything that you want to feel. So feel
mm,
annoyed. And perhaps if you feel cold, you might give gratitude to the fact that you have a home to renovate. You know,
indeed.
like it
Yeah,
just gets to be both.
yeah,
And so it's not about forcing anything. Like, don't force away your annoyance and consider Like I'm speaking as an elder millennial in the US where it's really difficult for folks my age to own a home. And
Mm,
so, in this climate, and it has for several years. And so, a lot of millennials are looking down a very realistic path that they might not own a home. And that's no longer the quote unquote American dream. That's
mm,
gone. But
yeah.
I digress. Consider what you get to do while you're in that annoyance. It gets to be both. So just
Mm,
honor both. I always say, like, give all of your energy centers airtime because if you suppress anybody, brain, heart, gut, root, like anybody, well, that's going to manifest in different ways in a physical ailment. To your point about the body already will always talk to us. So,
mm,
oh gosh. So when I was 4 or 5 years old, and if you all don't know, you probably do since you're listening to Roseanne's show. Uh, when we get here as babies, we're closest to the veil. And so we're closest to like our soul, spirit of where we just came from, the soul plane. And so we're so magical because like
mm.
that's all we know. We don't know how to be human yet. Well, when I was 4 or 5, I would my gifts and abilities, just so you know. Oh, and by the way, Roseanne, I think you know this, but when those songs drop in, that's clairaudience. Like
I
so
know.
okay, yeah,
Yeah,
you know that.
yeah.
Which is cool. Um, that's my favorite part. Uh, when I was 4 or 5, I was able to, I wouldn't be able to say this to you back then, like, but I was able to read energy. So I was very clairsentient, very claircognizant. So I would read adults and I would go up to them and be like, why is your chest tight? Do you have a headache? What's going on? And they'd be like, demon child, just terrified of me because I would, and
Yeah.
uh, at a very young age, that was literally like beaten out of me. I was in a domestic violence home. And so I've learned at a very young age to suppress everything that I was feeling in my tiny little body.
Mm,
And imagine 35 years of that suppression in the body. And I'm a believer that stored emotions and energy, like any physical ailment, and again, there are exceptions, of course,
mhm.
but I feel every physical ailment began as an emotion or an energy, and it
Yeah.
just it stuck,
Yeah.
and to the point where there was something that we
Mm.
had to do about it. Yeah, go ahead.
I am completely 100% with you. That is almost like my entire world was my business. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like I did a workshop recently where I basically my sort of headline was the word chronic is bullshit and that we are
Mm,
not accepting chronic because that is a story that we are telling ourselves. And the majority of illnesses and these, especially these chronic things like chronic pain, aches, tiredness, and so on. I'm not denying the pain, the aches, the tiredness, but the
absolutely.
word chronic, that can do one that can get in the sea and go away. That's absolutely a story we're telling ourselves, and those stories we tell ourselves is so so powerful.
Yeah, because our
um
brain is our just as powerful as our body and our energy is, so is our brain,
yeah.
which is meant to keep us quote unquote safe in the unknown of this life. And so your brain's going to tell you what's going on, and then you go down pathways. And I love what you're saying because absolutely, we're not denying that chronic pain isn't real. We're saying that give us an hour with your energy. Let's see what we can move. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, not think, I know, I've every client of mine is always astonished at when we move energy, something of the physical feels better as well.
Mm.
Or like their IBS suddenly goes away, or and it depends on which energy center we work in. But that's, oh gosh, I could go in a million different directions. I want to make sure I'm answering your questions. But that's specifically from, I'm certified in all the chakras, of course, and energy healing. We basically go and find the energy. And I do all my work virtually, but I am
Mm.
certified in Reiki as well. We find the energy and we start to move it.
Mm.
And what's interesting is no matter who you are, you don't have to be certified in all of the energies and all of these things to be able to move your energy. And that's what a lot of people are astonished about too.
Mm.
When they're like, did I do that? I'm like, yeah, you did that. You moved
Yeah.
your energy like you can. It just takes it typically does take someone that of a practitioner that can guide you through that. But you can move it yourself. And that's where it's just, and imagine, Roseanne, the reason this isn't mainstream is because we wouldn't need doctors, medicine
Yeah,
necessarily. I'm so happy that science exists and doctors and medicine and everything like that.
absolutely.
You know, if we
Yeah.
did more energy work and allowed ourselves to feel, we would be amazed at how much we could do on our own.
Yeah, we could negate a good, significant chunk of the things that the doctors need to do. And we all wanted doctors to be there because when our loved
Sure,
ones
sure,
get
sure.
sick and
Absolutely.
when we break our leg or whatever,
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Yes.
let's get that fixed
Let's get the doctors.
because they're clever. But yeah, there's so much of the work that is needed we can do ourselves. And
Mm,
this is the magic. And this is what, as you
yes.
say, has been conditioned out of us over the
Yeah.
generations and generations of sort of suppression, which is why I love like you're championing the matriarchy, because this is where the wisdom
Mm,
lies with the wise elders of the of the wise women that we all
mm,
are, as like
yes.
getting back in touch with that side of ourselves is just immensely powerful. And you just have to be in a room with several other women who are
Mm,
on the same wavelength, and woof, holy
that
mackerel,
part.
the
That
power.
part. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, a lot of people were like, women don't need permission. It's not, it's not that it's permission. It's about, to your point. Ah, and I've seen it with women who are like, I'm not in tune, I'm not spiritual, I'm not connected. And then I'll get them in that room with other women, and suddenly, again, suddenly, what you know in your bones, in your DNA, in your sacral womb space, all of that comes online immediately when you get in that village vibe circle
Mm,
of your whatever your lineage looks like, but you're drawing on your at that moment when you get in that circle in that room with those wise women, no matter who they are, with intention.
mm,
Your ancestors breathe life through your own life force and vitality, and everybody in the rooms does too. And suddenly you have that wise women circle of the ancient times.
mm.
Everybody's there.
Yeah. Yeah, the lineage goes all the way back and all the way deep down into Mother Earth as well. Like that
Mm.
connection is irrefutable and it is incredible. And I've had the privilege of doing that many times. And it always elevates me to such
Yeah.
a different, it's always an upgrade when you do
I
that.
love that you said Mother Earth because the last sacred circle I was part of, which was for Samhain, Gaia visited me specifically.
Wow. Wow, wow,
And I was
wow.
like, Gaia's here. And like, I was like, oh my gosh. And I was so elated because that was the first time, I think, or maybe like the first of a couple times that that's happened. And I just gave so much gratitude.
Mm,
I was like, thanks, Mama Gaia. Thank you so much.
yeah. So we know the power of this stuff and this quantum. So I think let's draw
Yes,
you back to
yes,
quantum energy healing. You were a
yes,
child, you could read
yes,
adults. It
yes.
was kind of thrashed out of you, which I'm so sorry to hear that
Oh,
you went
thanks.
through that.
Yeah.
Um, but and then presumably, because I read your bio, you went on to have some a big old corporate career with sounding like the boss from hell as well. So then, so yeah, so you perpetuated this as we often do. We go to
Yes,
what feels safe, which is why
yes,
people who always have disastrous relationships always have disastrous relationships because they just go for the same pattern and we look
yep.
for the same thing because it feels safe and
Yes,
not because it's what's good for us. It's just,
right,
yeah. So,
right. Yeah, thank you so much. So I joined the mainstream for the next 35 years. And yeah,
mm,
I I did what I was supposed to do. I went to college, I got a corporate job, and I'm a fiery Aries, so I'm always going to crush it. And
Yeah.
so in corporate, like my Aries of always crushing it paired with the comfort and familiarity. I would say familiarity of the hierarchy, the better than the patriarchy, that all of the that felt so familiar to me. And that's
Mm,
why I felt so safe in corporate
yeah.
for I would say 15 out of my 20 years. I started remembering loosely and fighting, by the way, hard my last 5 years in corporate. But what was interesting is that I began, and age-wise, this was probably around 35. I'm 43 now. Around 35, I now know I was starting to get antsy and start to yearn for those women. And I was
Mm.
also, I noticed too, I have thousands of women from my lineage, and my lineage is deep rooted shamans from Scotland. So
Oh.
I am surrounded by thousands of shaman healers from my lineage at all times. And I started to feel them again. And I was like, whoo, who is that? And again, I was so deep-seated in corporate. I was like, that's all woo-woo. That's crazy. That's. So I get where a lot of people are right now, where they're like, that doesn't even resonate with me. I get it. And stay tuned because what's happening right now in astrological, we're having a cosmic consciousness upgrade.
Mhm.
Like our DNA is getting upgraded. And so all these things that don't resonate with you necessarily now, stay tuned because they might.
Mm.
So what I think intuitively, what I did in my corporate job, I became the leader of the Women's Employee Resource Group. And I was like, oh, let me create this for myself. And so I became the leader and I was around, 1,500 women and I was coaching hundreds of women in the workplace. And I was like, whoa.
Wow.
I got that visceral. For me, I have sacral authority, but also my fire is in my solar plexus. And I would genuinely feel like I was high as a kite when I was like in the events, in the rooms with those hundreds of women, or I was just so high and it felt amazing. I'm like, okay, that's the moment I started to feel a little bit into my body and remember that I was, of course, gifted and spiritual and soulful. And I was
Mm.
like, that's interesting that every time I get around the women, something lights up inside me.
Yeah.
And I kind of put a pin in that for a few years because I'm like, okay. Being in the Women's Employee Resource Group was enough for me. And then we have this ceremony where we pass the torch, so to speak, to the next woman that's going to lead the group. When I did that, and I went back to kind of my day job, I was, I just plummeted. I completely tanked,
Mm.
meaning nothing was okay. And this was probably, let's see, this was during the pandemic. It was like 2021, 22 when I had passed the torch and I just went back to my day job. And I was like, oh my God, this isn't it. This is not it. And I just kept trying to do different things and feel different things. Well, that was, of course, paired. I consider like I literally have had this vision, my spirit team, and like almost like a scrum or a huddle, being like, all right, what are we gonna give her? What are we going to give her to let her pivot or let her leave this
Yeah.
and
To
follow her
come
path?
back to herself, basically.
Yeah, exactly. To come back to
Remember.
myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and remember. So it was a few things. It was the passing the torch of what did light me up. I didn't have that. I also had a day job that was extremely miserable. I became an alcoholic, and I was also facing psychological abuse from my boss. So imagine, and I say all of that not from a place of like, woe is me. It's like, oh my gosh, like, no, but seriously, my team had to really give me a lot of stuff so
Mm.
that I would move, else I
Mm.
would not have. I just wouldn't have. It was so, my brain was like, don't you dare. So then in 22, I visited Salem, Massachusetts in October, which is such an energetically charged place.
Okay.
And I I sat down with it and I had my very first reading and they said, "You could be reading me." I'm like, "I don't know what that means." They're like, "You will." And I was like, "Okay." That all of that combined was really the cat all the catalysts together that allowed me to go back into my corporate job after that trip. And my boss said one last thing, and I said, "Oh no, today's my last day." And I left with no plan. Listen, not ideal, not ideal, but also me personally, I almost needed that safety net completely pulled out from under me
Yeah.
so that I would, for lack of this is a very human way to say it, but like get my ass in gear of
Mm.
like remembering. And so the moment I left corporate, the psychological abuse went away. I didn't want to drink anymore, which was amazing, like almost immediately.
Mm.
And then my body, like it was almost like a slingshot. My entire life, so I was 40 by this point, my entire 40 years of suppressing, I got so sick. I
No.
had and the doctors were like, everything's fine, everything looks fine. Well, what was happening literally was energy, all the stored energy from 40 years of all that I was suppressing, all the pain, all the trauma, all that I was suppressing was literally erupting inside me.
Yeah.
And what that came to be was cellulitis, which is a skin like skin abscesses that you
Mm.
have to surgically drain. I don't mean to
Oh
be
God.
like not
No,
to get
that's
too graphic,
nasty.
but
Yeah.
like that was all over my body. So
Mm.
I had to be in the hospital. I had to have surgeries. And they were literally just opening up and draining all of these.
Oh my God. I mean, it's just,
It's not funny,
it's,
but like
no,
that's
it is,
what it
but it's
happened.
not, no, it's really not funny at all. But it's just such an incredibly visceral image of the crap, all of the stuff,
Literally the
the,
crap.
all
Uh,
of the stuff that you'd been
yeah,
holding in, all of that toxic
yeah,
effluent that you'd been
yeah.
absorbing, suddenly going, right, we're out of here. How do we get out?
It was
Let's do it.
erupting.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like there were just like skin volcanoes all over me. And I'm
Oh my
like,
gosh,
and like,
Amy.
what? What?
No, I just was like,
Uh,
oh, Amy.
Skin volcanoes.
Yeah,
And like dermatologists didn't know what to do. Like they were all like, everything looks fine. And so
yeah,
they're like, well, okay. And then after all of that, I've never had it again, not
yeah,
once, and because
yeah,
it all got out.
yeah,
And I am so laser focused on my energy and with when something feels icky or sticky, and we talked about this before we hit record, I allow myself to assess people, places, and things around me that don't feel good in my body, and I allow myself to exit,
mm,
whatever that looks like.
mm, yeah. And I think a lot of us don't. We think, oh, I've just got to stick it out. I've just got to, because I would need the paycheck at the end of the month, or
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
need this person in my life, or I can't be rude to that person because then I'll be rejected from this friendship group, or like whatever it is.
Whatever it
Like
is.
we tell ourselves in any number of stories to and
Yeah.
excuses for us to stay in these situations that our body would much rather, our inner self, our inner soul knows that is not particularly useful or helpful for us, but the brain overrides by going, no, we need to do this because it's gonna, keep us safe or keep us involved in this
Yeah.
place or pay for our bills, and sometimes, people, I'm sure there are plenty of people in toxic jobs that they do not enjoy, that feel like
Yeah.
they're dead end, and then I can't just walk out of here because I've got to pay my rent and I've got to buy,
Right.
shoes for my kids. Like, like life happens. It's tough.
My advice to those people, so that you don't have to do what I did, which is like, I'm out of here. I gotta go. Like I was dying for sure. I
Mm,
would say to you, the moment something feels off, start planning your exit.
mm,
It takes a long time in this market to get a new job.
yeah.
Just start doing something
Mm,
so that it doesn't get to the point where you are completely forsaking yourself for just the paycheck.
yeah.
And I know I get it. Paychecks are important. And What's the point of making money if you are so ill?
Mm.
You can't
Exactly.
do anything else
Well, you
but
know,
pay your.
the same thing can be said for toxic relationships. You know,
Mm,
people who are in a relationship and they're like, how am I going to leave this? Because there's all sorts of emotional manipulation and behavior happening that you know is not good, but you feel you can't leave. Like again, it's not always easy to leave, but making those moments of planning of like actually how then you're setting your energy off in the right direction.
right.
That's the key.
And
This
that's what
is
it doesn't have to happen all at once.
no.
Get yourself an ally, a coach, a guide,
Hmm.
and nothing has to happen. Like, this is what to share with your brain at all times. Nothing's happening today, nothing's happening urgently,
Hmm.
but bring your brain along with you to start by any degree choosing
Mm,
yourself. Nothing has to quote unquote happen today. Just start choosing yourself by any means possible and
mm.
let that start to build.
Yeah, yeah. That's a I love that because that's like a step back from something that I often teach and say, which is what's just one tiny thing that you can do today
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
going to help you on your way. And it could just be making that phone call or sending that email or just writing a list, like literally just one tiny thing that's going to move
Mhm.
you one step forward. Because as long as you're taking a step, even if it's a teeny tiny baby step, it's still a step in the right direction.
That's with every new client, we go through their non-negotiables. So, what is your
Mm,
non-negotiable in life? And when we list out the non-negotiables, we'll say, okay, now how would you be or move differently if these non-negotiables were taken care of completely? And
mm,
that's where we start to shed light on the
yeah.
how or the what of the next degree just by talking it through.
Mm, yeah. So
And
the
that
kind of
and okay.
no, go on, go on, go on.
And so that's what gets into the quantum energy healing is that we literally go and visit. So the quantum field, multiverse, there are infinite versions of us out in the multiverse. That like and every decision, every second, every nanosecond, there's a different version splitting off of us, depending on how we're moving in our lives. So
Mm,
what we do is we work together to call in that future version or that version of you that is doing the thing with the person, feeling peaceful, and
mm,
we see how they're doing it. We're not just how, we're feeling into how they feel,
mm,
and we're collapsing the timelines to bring that to you current version now. That's
mm,
what it is about the quantum energy. We kind of borrow that energy for a while from the version of you that is living as that, and we step into them.
mm. It's matching the vibration, really, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
like bringing your vibration up to the level of that person that has the thing that you want, whether it be you know whatever that is. That's always the first step. It's like how does it feel? Like
How does it
it's great
feel?
to have positive thinking and go write in your journal. I want to you know I want a partner. I want a partner. And then write the list of it. I mean, it is powerful to do those lists are really powerful, but matching and imagining, and that's where the meditation part comes in really useful because you need to get your brain into that wave state where it can be receptive and where you can actually feel how it feels to have that dream come true, if you like.
I love what you just said, which is I think affirmations are great. I think I love that folks write down what they want. Also, words matter, thoughts matter. So if you tell the universe constantly over and over again, I want, there's not anything that the universe can grab onto to give
No,
you
all
that.
it is all it will give you is more of the wanting.
More of the wanting. Right, exactly. So it's like and oh, by the way, if you say something like an affirmation like I am with the person of my dreams, and your body's like, that's not true. Also that energy can't lie to the universe.
Mm,
So you're like, well, damn if I do, damn if I don't. No, just get your energy into a place, work with Rosanne or me to line up your chakras, open them up, balance them out, have them wide open, then speak into existence what you not just want, but on a soul level. What
Mm,
did you come here to be?
mm,
What did you come here to feel? How do you feel in that state? And that's exactly to your point. That's the quote unquote how. So you don't just, there's something to be said about repetition, sure, and energy never lies. And universe doesn't know what to do with stuff that's not true.
mm.
It
But
just,
it just takes whatever you give it as, yeah.
yeah.
And
It's just like it's like, oh, you want? Okay, we'll keep you. Well, okay. We're gonna keep you in the want. Great.
keep you in the state of want. Yeah, exactly. So this brings us nicely to your magic school, which I just
Mm,
like sounds like so much fun.
mm,
And I bet everyone comes up to you and goes, "Oh,
universe.
you in Hogwarts?" Whatever. Fun times.
That- someday, y'all, there will be a brick and mortar Hogwarts like vibe.
Yes.
So
There will be so many people taking it. And I mean, the entire world loves the whole Harry Potter thing, magic. Like it captures something in the imagination of adults and children alike that it is like this one of the biggest franchises in the world. Some of the most, the most popular books, I don't know where it is on the scale, but it's got to be up there with all of the top ranking movies, books, franchises of or ideas, concepts. Everybody bloody loves magic, right? Everybody wants magic in their lives.
but
Go
and
on.
I here, no, and and we forget that we're that soul spirit. We're only having human experience, and we force ourselves to suggest that none of that is real,
Yeah.
which in reality, you wouldn't even like Harry Potter if it wasn't already in you. There would be no resonance.
Yes. Yeah. Yes,
So I
exactly.
hate to tell you, Muggles, I hate to tell you, it is magic is already in you. If you like Harry Potter, it's already in you.
Yeah. So what do you teach in your magic school?
So, oh, thank you so much. And it is such a beautiful, right now it's a virtual only, so anyone in the world can join. And it's personally facilitated by me. It's 8 weeks. And I start by teaching energy. So what are chakras? And then I coincide with the clair abilities. What are
Mm,
clairs? And like by where we are in the body. And here's something that is I say this all throughout. This is the first half of magic school. Energies and clairs. Just because I'm teaching one way that you could experience this does not mean that it's the way. So it's
mm,
the I every single moment I'm always coming back to what do you feel? What do you particularly feel when I suggest this notion that clairaudience is when you get messages without hearing something or maybe you do hear something. Uh it gets to be so subjective by the person. And I
yeah,
will always come back to there is not any one way. And that's why I feel a big part of the world can't wrap their minds around energetics or spiritual work
yeah,
because it is so subjective to each individual and it's meant to
exactly.
be. And
This
but like
is,
as humans, we're not supposed to understand that.
yeah,
And
you know,
so it's hard. So that's the first half
yeah,
is chakras and clairs. And what I do, what I facilitate is I teach like, okay, where is the heart chakra? I teach the sounds, Sanskrit, like I'll go through like all the logistics, and then we will do an activity to open that heart chakra altogether, whether it be, and I send this beautifully curated magic kit of all
oh
kinds of
wow,
amazing. You don't have to worry about preparing anything. I send it to you. And it's we'll have something that pairs with something so that we can have something physical in our hand. Because as you know, we don't always need tools, but tools kind of help at the beginning to get things going. So
mm,
that's the first half. And then the back half, the second half of magic school is all about elemental magic. So working with fire, water, air, earth,
oh
spirit,
my God,
and again, having those tools. And the
mm,
most special, one of the most special, I mean, it's all special, but working with spirit of calling back inward.
mm,
And honestly, as magic school, I kind of market it as reigniting your intuition or trusting your first instincts, because that's
Hmm.
really what we're trying to get to, no matter
Yeah.
what. And if you come away with a deepened spiritual practice, that's amazing.
Mm.
But it's all about getting back to your own unique, authentic voice first, or even remembering it. And so it's an 8-week virtual course. It's capped at 10 women, and it is a value of almost $5,500 offered for 2222.
Mm.
And it's the most magical program I've ever embarked on. And it's just from my learning over the years, different magic schools or magic programs I've taken
Mm.
part of.
It
Matter
sounds
of fact, some of the
amazing.
practitioners of magic schools I've participated in have consulted with me on my magic school because
Yeah.
it gets to be what you feel called to, and I feel called to return to elements
Yeah.
and going back in.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so that's
yeah.
why I
No,
start
but
with energy and then go with elements. Yeah.
that's where the old Scottish shamans have come right back in because they're all about the elements, and that's
Yes.
absolutely. But it's fascinating to hear you talk about what you do because we're very, very aligned, obviously. Um, and I used to teach my Chakra Way course as an 8-week course,
Ah,
and it was too much. But I completely like you're and it was an introductory, and then each chakras, and you work your way through, and you take in everything that was there, and people were like, "Whoa, I can't do this in a week. It's too much.
hmm.
I need a
Right.
month." And then I was like, "Fine, it's a 7-month course." And then honestly, the last few clients that I've had when I tend to work one to one because, as you say, it's so personal, it's
Mhm.
so um, individual to each person that doing it as a group is sometimes a bit you're here, there, and everyone's got different things. Um, the last couple of people I've done, we've literally taken a year.
Hmm.
We've been together for a year and we don't meet every month. We have like the 8 meetings or whatever and the chakra readings and the what have you.
Hmm.
But oh my God, that is a massive, massive leap.
Magic school would probably be a good intro for people in your program where they want to deepen.
Mm.
Mine's an intro.
Ah, yeah.
You
Well,
know,
that was what mine was meant to be. It was meant
oh,
to be an
sure.
intro, and then it was
You
like
know,
I got too much stuff to throw at you. I just got too much.
I
Let's go
know.
there.
It's
Let's
so
go there.
much. It's so deep. And that's why I always will say it's not that you go through this 8 weeks and you're a you're set to be, you're this is literally it's kind of like it's a one-on-one to get back to your authentic voice
Yeah.
and oh, also by the way, to see what lands with you. Maybe
Mm.
chakras don't land with you. Maybe none of the clairs land with you. Maybe it
Yeah.
doesn't resonate. Maybe the only thing you get out is that you love earth magic. Perfect.
Mm. Yeah.
Then that's the point, is to help someone connect to what does resonate, because a lot of times I find in mainstream spirituality, it's like prescriptive and you
Mm.
have to do all this stuff. And it's like, no, only take what's for you.
Yeah.
Only take what your body resonates with. And so I hear you, because even my shaman was like, you're teaching chakras in this amount of time. I was like, yes, but it's like, it's for like the newbies.
Yeah. I
Like
mean,
I
this
wouldn't
is,
say like when you said you wanted to enroll, I'm like, you know all this. So I'm
I
like,
know.
I'm not sure that's for you, but
I just want to be in magic school. It sounds like fun.
I mean, at some point, interesting you say that, Roseanne, because at some point I do want to bring in other like peers and practitioners to help me lead it and like co-facilitate. So
Mm.
maybe that's something you and I are calling into existence.
Maybe, maybe. I mean, I'm having, I'm just off the back of two yoga retreats back to back, and I'm realizing that actually in-person retreats, like we were saying about being in circle with other women, and it
Yeah,
doesn't have to be just women. I have men on the retreats as well, and they
sure.
were wonderful. Um, that is a place where you create proper magic.
Yes.
And
Everyone's like, you can do this virtually. I'm like, yes. And someday it will be in person.
yeah, but it's finding that, yeah. So that's my that would be my dream. Co-create an amazing retreat. That would
And
be
so we
so
shall.
cool. Okay, and so it shall be.
And so it shall be.
God, Amy, I feel like we've just literally scratched the surface of everything that we do and we could talk about. I feel like I could talk to you about all of this for so long
Hmm.
and in such depth. Um, but tell me or tell the people listening, because I know how to get in touch with you. I've got your email address. How can people get in touch with you? What's your website and so on?
Please visit unlockthemagic.org. And there are calls to action all over my website to connect with me, book a vibe check.
Oh,
That's what I like to
lovely.
call, just a vibe check of 30 minutes with me to see what's up and see what's pulling, what thread is pulling you. I do
Oh,
have a large LinkedIn presence, which is because of my first 20 years in corporate. And I interestingly find a lot of people on LinkedIn that are becoming woo curious and they're like, I don't even know where to start. And so me as a 20-year executive now, I was really always the healer and the coach masquerading as the executive, but that's what really folks feel resonant with me on LinkedIn. They're like, you talk about interesting stuff. Tell me more. So, um, find
that's
me on,
fascinating.
yeah, right.
I need to
I
get on there. Yeah.
I have a podcast, Women Making Moves, where I celebrate the moves that women are making. I talk to the women of the world that are creating the new existence that we all deserve. I'm sure you'll hear Rosanne on there at some point. And check out Magic School, check out coaching and my healing practices. Again, I work all virtually. And
Mm,
someone was like, well, the best way to describe what I quote unquote do is I offer Reiki without touch and like all virtual.
mm. Yeah, no, it
I move energy through feeling and through talking.
mm. But I mean, energy doesn't have time and space boundaries. I know
Right.
that, when my chakra readings that I do, I actually prefer to do them virtually because it means that I can be more calm and like there's less expectation on me to put on some kind of performance in the room for a
Mm.
chakra reading, which I think people would kind of expect, crystals and
Oh, like a
candles and the
ceremonial. Yeah.
hands over and all that, and which
Yeah.
obviously I can do, but
Sure.
it's just so much more simple and straightforward to do it. And I can read somebody in Australia sitting here in the UK, and the energy is absolutely spot on. Yeah, you don't need to be in the room. It's wonderful to be in the room, but you don't
Yes.
need to be. Absolutely not. Energy don't care.
Energy
Doesn't.
don't care.
Mm.
And I can it's like someone's like will always ask like how are you reading? I'm like I can see it's hard to explain in words, but like I can see each chakra and I can see if they're tilted, like imbalanced, or I can see like them shut or open. And I can also see colors like with auras and different things. So
Oh wow. And you
that's
can do, yeah. I mean,
that's how
my how is with a pendulum. I'm a pendulum
amazing.
girl, which,
Yeah.
I've never quite understood how, but it would be really, I would love to be able to actually just look at someone and go, oh, I can see it. I can just feel it, but
I
it's
can, and can you imagine? As a child, when people got so freaked out, I now understand that consent is the utmost importance. So I always share this during magic school too, just because some of these things come online and that you can do and receive some of these things does not mean that you always should.
yeah.
So make sure you have consent. And I don't just go into a room just reading anybody. I do have the ability to like turn my tuner off.
Mm,
And I will always lead with that unless someone has expressly said, can you read me? I'll be like,
mm,
sure, give me, and I'll have to turn it back on. So
yeah. Amazing. Okay, thank you. I mean, thank you seems not in really adequate.
thank
This has been
you.
such a good conversation, and I've loved meeting you, Amy.
Mm,
Thank you.
thank you so
Uh,
much.
you're welcome.